And as he journeyed, Acts 9 verse 3 to 5, he came near Damascus, and suddenly there shined around about him a light from heaven, and he fell to the earth, and heard a voice saying unto him, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? And he said, Who art thou, Lord? And the Lord said, I am Jesus, whom thou persecutest. In Christian history, there is nothing more sudden, more unexpected, more violent than the blinding vision by which Saul's conversion was brought about. The light from heaven struck him blind in a single moment, and he was 3 days without sight, and neither did he eat nor drink. Acts 9 verse 9. Saul had to be converted or die. And in the dazzling light which revealed to him the glory of Christ, whom he had persecuted, he saw all other things illuminated, and penetrated to the heart of things hitherto obscured. No great man in history before or since was ever asked to break with his past in such a violent way. The rupture took place in an instant and was complete. And the zeal and ardor with which he had persecuted the Christ was now transferred to his service. But it is a chastened Paul who labors in the vineyard. It is a disciple who, on the threshold of life and in the first flush of manhood, has accomplished the complete renunciation, which in other lives is brought about in the furnace of sorrow, the long years of experience. His later trances and visions and revelations bear no resemblance to this stupendous event, which marks the turning point in his life. He had actually seen the Christ from face to face in that moment, even as the first disciples had seen him after his resurrection. And therefore Paul's apostolate, like theirs, was a divinely bestowed commission. In this divine power, he went forth rapidly from town to town, always avoiding the smaller villages, as exposing him to greater dangers, preaching the gospel, founding congregations, and establishing the Church of Christ far and wide. His life of service was one of extreme peril, for the Jews hated him as a renegade of the worst type, and sought to slay him under any pretext whatsoever. But his position gave him a superior power. He was loved by the people, and he never failed, with masterly diplomacy, to claim his legal rights as a Roman citizen. He had the right to speak, and through sheer force of character and determination, he compelled his adversaries to respect his liberty. He seemed to lead a charmed life amid surroundings of unspeakable danger, and the fertility of his resource, the dauntless courage of his attitude, born with a conviction that his mission was divinely imposed, divinely protected, undoubtedly carried him successfully through those stormy years. We know that he was stoned and imprisoned And history gives us sufficient proof that in the end he met the martyr's death under Nero. But his mission had been fulfilled. His epistles, which are living letters, rich in personal feeling, were wrung from him by the imperious need of the hour. He was not a born writer. Indeed, he seems to have labored under great difficulties in writing. But this fact only enhances the importance and value of his epistles as the vital expressions of an overcharged heart. They thrill with the sense of the supreme mystery of prophecy. They speak of an altogether unique and fervent conviction of the truth of revelation. They testify to the possibility of human living intercourse with the divine. Paul had personal experience of mystic prophecy, as he had of its fulfillment, and he could bring his message to the world with the force and conviction born of knowledge. To judge by his correspondence, he had a host of friends, a large circle of acquaintances. He must have been a lovable and essentially human companion, with a marvelous gift of self-revelation developed to the highest degree, and in the highest form of self-sacrificing abandonment. His epistles form an autobiography of priceless worth. But over and above all, Paul was born mystic. He would not have been chosen as one of the supreme religious agents of the Christian Church if he had lacked the gift of mystical intuition, through which the divine will is made manifest to man. And as the possession of the higher intuitive faculties is invariably accompanied by an extraordinary development of activity in every sphere, mental, moral, and physical, Paul, with his energy and resource, was the only man in his day who could possibly have achieved such results as he did in carrying out on the physical plane the task divinely revealed to him through the higher senses of mystic perception.